Oh, wow, that looks good. Oh, there we go. Now I'm in focus. What is up, everybody? Who do we got here? Pudgy, Large Marge. Pudgy trying out all the commands. I think we started, what was that, 2 weeks ago? Added a bunch of those. But Blackball, what is up, man? Rick?
Ricardo Knox is super chatted $4.99. Thank you, Mr. Fitzwater, for all you do. Huzzah.
Huzzah. Thank you, Rick. I appreciate that. Jay Dandy, Bicycle Dad, what's up, guys? Patrick, how's it going? Yeah, thanks, Rick. Let me know how the audio is, doing something different. Hey, what's up? Desert Mantis, Pendleton, Oregon. Nice. Pendleton, yeah. Yeah, so just made a members video, and one of the things I said is one of the new things I bought to help make the streams better is a boom arm. So it's a Rode boom arm, and I'm thinking it'll be cool because if you've been here before, when we have people have their bikes on, I'll actually be able to swing the mic over there. So hopefully it improves the audio, but again, I'm using a different mic than I usually use, so let me know how it sounds. So you guys are saying it sounds good? Awesome, because Aaron and Brad were telling me they were watching together last week, and it was really quiet, and I think it usually is. Even if I go back to check the audio, like to watch a stream after, it's so much quieter than my normal YouTube, even though my audio interface shows the faders being in the right spot and my software shows it being in the right spot. So, yeah. Oh, Rick's Super Chat didn't play. Let me turn that up a little bit. Huh, that's weird. I turned it up so it will next time. I wish they let me replay those. That should be like an option. It, looking at it to see if it is, but it's not. But yeah, so it seems like I need to have it like bouncing into the red. So just let me know if it ever starts to distort or get really annoying or picking up weird hums or hymns. I'll just have it cranked from now on. But I think I think this will also help having a mic closer to my mouth, and I don't have an actual like broadcast mic. I'm just hanging like my camera shotgun mic here for now, one thing at a time. But yeah, did invest in the arm, which is nice. So it's super. It moves great. It stays wherever you put it. So be able to swing it around when we have guests, like I said. So yeah. You know what I think you guys actually heard of the super chat? I had the desktop audio down. I think you actually heard it coming out of my speakers and going back through the mic. So yeah. I don't know why I had turned the desktop audio down. We must have, I think, played a video last week that had copyrighted music in it. So yeah. Rick got super chatted as usual. Yeah, anyway, so that's the first update on the streams. The second is I finally took I had bought a 100-foot Ethernet cable. The problem was I needed to run it from upstairs down here, and the floor where my where my computer's set up, where I used to stream from, is tile, and I couldn't get through the tile. Got a diamond head drill bit, got through the tile, and so now the stream and the computer down here is also hardwired. So I'm kind of excited about that because I used to be nervous about having too many windows open or trying to share a video while we were streaming. Now it should be good because the computer down here is hardwired to the modem. So I'm also kind of excited about that. I was always like looking at the stream health, and sometimes it would be getting into the red. And so I'm going to do some more research and bump up the quality of the stream as well. So now that it's hardwired, I should be able to stream in like true 1080 at a much higher bit rate and all that. But I don't want to jump in and start like changing all that stuff without reading about it and doing that stuff first. So yeah, kind of cool. Couple things that I'm kind of excited about upgrading the stream. And also today, this is what I used to do when I streamed all the time, talk about my streaming equipment when no one was listening except I think Pudgy and a couple other guys. But yeah, today I also have the 35 millimeter lens since I'm solo, the 1.4, so we get that better background blur and the better autofocus. And Nicholas asked what I was drinking. So speaking of the better autofocus, it's White Raja. I've had a few of these on the stream. So White Raja is Brew Kettle, brewery up in, what's that called? Up near Cleveland. Where exactly are they? Why is it slipping my mind? But yeah, White Raja is like a classic IPA from the Cleveland area that I've always liked. For its 10th anniversary, they've been doing all different iterations of it. Some have been like with spicy ones with pepper. Some have added fruit. And this one is their all Ohio version. So it says Ohio sourced barley, malted locally, featuring Ohio bred Allay and SAM hops. I've never seen either of those hops actually, so I don't know if there's some kind of new Ohio hybrids. But yeah, it's really good. This one tastes a lot like a classic White Raja, but not quite as fruity, I would say, from the hops. And then yeah, I was looking at what everybody else was sipping. So Nicholas, who asked, he has the Jackie O's Sing to the Sun. We drank those on the stream, I think, a couple weeks ago. Or I can't remember if it was me and a guest or just me. And then Large Marge. How do I make that full? There we go. Start this over. Hitting all the wrong buttons. Toppling Goliath. Forced Flare. Double into... Oh, it's like the Office Space style from the Fridays outfit. theme. Toppling Goliath always has the reputation for being one of the best, or used to, I remember, being one of the best breweries. But I don't think, man, I haven't had many of their beers if I have had any. Hard body, hardwired. Yeah, I don't know. Haven't been hard bodied since the pandemic began because of these, I think. But yeah. Hey, what's up, Robert? How you doing? I met Robert this summer at the ACR Century Ride, and we've ridden together a few times, and then also passed each other on the trails and waved a few times. So yeah, yeah, Rick, we don't cuss before the piddle break. Yeah, White Roger's great. Oren Lupo, hey, what's up, man? How's it going? Hey, Dylan, how's it going? Lard said his beer is good. Yeah. Where's Toppling Goliath from? Let's see if I can zoom in on his can. Cashmere hops. Yeah, I've always, yeah, just one of those breweries that had a good reputation for years and years. How do I get out of full screen? So far, what is... Oh, it was in Kansas? I must have said something and I'm missing the reference, or like always. Yeah, so I guess that was the... Yeah, starting off with the stream updates that I'm really happy about. The other thing was I do want... I totally miss everything. Like I mentioned, I was thinking, and I talked about this, and if you guys aren't in the Discord, yeah, I talked about this in the Discord Tuesdays. I was thinking for making, in general, maybe just a short stream where we look at everyone's bike photos, talk about a topic, whatever, maybe a solo one, and then Thursdays trying to always have a guest, whether that's in person or live. Members have priority on that, so I want to throw that out to the members again first. So I will make sure I ask again in the Discord. But yeah, if you're a channel member and you're local and you want to come by here, bring your bike. We'll throw it on the bike stand, talk about what you ride. We could look at some photos, whatever. Let me know. And if no one's into that, or if no one's local and wants to do it, we could also do the remote thing. And I have tested, and I do have my setup down here. And now that it's hardwired, I especially feel good about it that we could do some remote guests again and get back into that for the winter. It's like a fun thing, and it makes it much more, I think, much more fun to talk to somebody else than for me just to ramble twice a week. I don't think I have that in me anymore. So, well, I mean, I know that's from the Wizard of Oz. I don't know what triggered the Wizard of Oz quote. Oh, IA, what? Indiana? Oh, Decorah, Indiana. Oh, that might not be that far for us to take a road trip out there, huh? Toppling Goliath, that is. This Thursday, Tom's having his imaginary friend Mitt. What does that mean? No, he retracted the message. Message. The mass. I said it again. Message, because he, I think, wrote the wrong name. So. Oh, Office Space reference. Gotcha. Gotcha, guys. Yeah, then there were some new bike pics as well. I wanted to show those. Yeah, I know Rusty had, well, I don't think Rusty's in here tonight. Is he? No. Yeah, Indiana is IN. Yeah. I realized it wasn't Indiana real quick. Oh yeah, Iowa, that's a hike. Yeah, Indiana's close, Iowa's a hike. Yeah. Yeah. I can't remember how far back we got on bike pictures last time. I think after Micah and Albert left, I know we looked at some of them. But these are from Rusty's birthday ride, he said. The warm weather is looking really good right now because we have cooled off considerably. If you saw my last video, the snow ride, it was pretty brutal. How is it in Arizona, Patrick? Is it cooling off out there? This is from a ride I did. That it wouldn't have been that cold, but it was super windy. It was brutally windy the day I rode here. I had to go to take some photos downtown Akron, and it was just like they even had fires going at this event and stuff, which would have been great, but the wind was blowing all the heat away. And a couple more of "Do not enter, one way or die." Wow. Yeah, it's the time of year where the desert's starting to look real, real good. Who hates the? Oh, it's Dylan who hates the desert. That's right. I'm looking at these and I think it looks cool, but yeah, Dylan's a desert hater, right? Oh yeah, Pudgy was also talking about a meetup at Ray's Mountain Bike Park up in is that what they call it? Ray's Indoor Mountain Bike Park up in Cleveland on December 12th. I've never done it. As we were talking about in the Discord, I always felt like I'm gonna break limbs trying to mountain bike indoors, but a couple people said I'd probably be all right. I don't know. We'll see. If a bunch of you guys are doing it, maybe I'll make a point to be out there and try it. But hey, what's up, William? For this one, he said, continuing the birthday weekend festival with a ride and run yesterday. Yeah, I saw he's been running too because of Strava. That looks so cool. Dylan likes desserts, but not deserts. Patrick said the weather is fine here. Oh, Bicycle Dad, you're in Auburn, Indiana. We might have to go to the maps here pretty quick. Brian Reddish, what's up? He said it was 73 here in Charleston, South Carolina. Yeah, we're actually going to get lucky tomorrow. It's supposed to hit mid 60s. Aaron actually called me right before I went live here and was like, "Do you want to ride in the afternoon?" Wednesday's my normal ride night, but I was already planning on riding out to a photo shoot I had at 1 o'clock and then over to Micah's studio to talk about some design work we're doing together. So I have to get some real work done. So I told Erin if I could get enough done in the morning, then maybe I can meet with her after I ride to my jobs and we could ride a little before my evening ride. But yeah, it's always one of those things this time of year. Whenever you get nice weather in Ohio, you just feel like you have to spend all that time outside. But I do have legit work that I have to get done. So we'll see. Should we see where Auburn, Indiana is? Whoops, wrong button. That was the GoPro button. I don't have the GoPro hooked up tonight. Oh, so a small town, huh? Okay, not too... Oh, north of Fort Wayne. Yeah, not crazy far from here. Where was wait, I'm scrolling back up to find where Large dropped the name of where the brewery was, because then we could look at where that's from. Iowa. I know he said Iowa. Where's the town? Oh, Decorah? I wonder how that's pronounced. I doubt it's Decorah, but Oh, that's a pretty small town too, huh? Another brewery there. Let's see. Yeah, it's a considerable distance. 10-hour drive. Yeah, that's a hike. And then Desert Manna said morning low tomorrow in eastern Oregon, and the forecast is 27, high about 50. That's not too bad. That's quite a jump, though. Man. Yeah. Rick said Auburn is a Native American name. It means city on the hill. Huh. My maps are programmed, Pudgy, to tell me the nearest brewery. On my phone, if I start to type anything, like when I'm looking at the maps, it's always like, it's breweries near me as one of the first things that pops up. I like that, Robert. I bet there's corn nearby. Yeah, I'm sure there is. Yeah, I was looking. There was one other thing I wanted to pull up on the map. What else did I miss? When were we talking about one other place? Maybe not. It's always a good episode when we get into maps in the first 15 minutes. I think me and Jay Dandy's opinion, anyways, right? Yeah, he already wrote, yeah, baby. Rick was asking what I take on photo shoots. That's one reason. So it depends on what kind of shoot, obviously. But just for like events, that's one reason with the R5 I bought it with the kit lens. Even though it's a Canon L lens, which is their supposedly top of the line, which most of the time is, I got it with the 24 10 to 105 f4. So usually for like events, especially outdoor events, I could just get away with that lens. It's going to do well enough because that camera is 45 megapixels. So even though I'm not crazy about the sharpness of the lens, uh, by the time I shrink those down to what people are going to use them for from event photography, they look sharp enough. So I usually just take that in my flash, which is a Luma Pro. It's a knockoff. I mean, it's a Chinese-made flash. It's just all manual, and it does what I need it to do. Uh, it's a little lighter than my big actual official Canon lenses, and it's 5 times cheaper, but it still works for on manual the way I need it to. So yeah, I could in my tiny Peak Design bag that like straps really tight to my back. If I'm riding my bike and just shooting like an outdoor event, that's pretty much all the kit I bring with me. Extra batteries, obviously. My Canon R5 just honks batteries. It's crazy, but yeah, I could get away with that. But then if I'm going to shoot like you know products on location, I could have you know 4 travel lights and a whole trunk load of stands and umbrellas and white backgrounds and all that kind of stuff. So Dylan's talking about the brewery thing. I think he said when he's the maps pulling up breweries for me. That's what we call machine learning. It's Patrick said it's 71 degrees in Tucson. Heather just drove up to Flagstaff for work and it says 43. Yeah. Well, won't it be? I mean, too, with that desert temperature, isn't that pretty normal for like the huge swings that you guys get? Blackball said there's a Yola Tango song called Decora, and they pronounce it like my second version, which I've already forgot which version was my second. Decora. I think I said Decora second. Yeah. Desert said no brewery in Pendleton, but there is a distillery. Nice. Oh yeah, Charleston, South Carolina. I do know where Charleston is. I was more thinking of the Pendleton, Oregon, because that's a place I'm not familiar with. But I'm not familiar with Oregon at all out in real life because I've never been out there. I mean, I've obviously watched plenty of videos and documentaries and stuff like that from the area. They also must, my map software also must really think, I think Google's probably just pushing them that I really need a hotel because everything is showing me these Best Westerns and all the hotels in town. So, hey, got a Denny's out there? Let's see. Okay, it gives us an idea where you're at. Oh, yeah, way up on the, almost on the border with Washington then, huh? Oh, there's the distillery. Oregon Grain Growers Brand Distillery. Nice. That's something we don't have a ton around here. There's a few, but a couple of them in Cleveland. Oh, Patrick said it'll cool off to the low 50s in Tucson tonight. It'll freeze in Flagstaff. Nice. Bicycle Dad was asking where the indoor mountain bike park was. So, whoops. So I've been up there in a long time. I've never ridden, but I went. There used to be a brewery in the same building as Ray's indoor mountain bike park. What was that called? Cleveland, Cleveland Brewing, right? No, it was something with the name of the area in it. What was the name of the brewery that used to be in Ray's indoor mountain bike park? I was wondering if I zoomed in if it would still show sometimes. And they had like the smokestack tasting room because there's a big smokestack. I think that's what this is right here on the map. Yeah, but Ray's is, what part of town are we in? Okay, kind of over by the zoo. It's could probably get away with the satellite now that we are hardwired. Oh yeah, that is the smokestack. We could also look at what it looks like. It's pretty crazy. Up. Spell things right, they come up faster. What the heck? Images, images. So they just have photos of the Instagram prize spot. If their links work. I go to my Instagram and type it in. Yeah, so all these, like I said, I haven't actually been here. I've been to the brewery that was up there, but it's looking for more of that. Oh yeah, that's a kind of a good overview there. Maybe. We'll see. Yeah, pump tracks and stuff. Oh, Desert Manna. She said it's where they make the Pendleton Woolen Mills blankets. Me and Aaron, sorry, jumping back to another subject like always, but when we were just camping in Connecticut, Erin brought her thick wool Pendleton blanket because we had really cold mornings there, and well, cold for this time of year mornings there in Connecticut, and we used that as like a blanket over our sleeping bags. Dylan said distillery scene seems huge in Columbus. Oh, you only know because you made a video about it. Yeah, we what is the one that the big one over there? Oyo Distillery in Columbus is one that got an early start, making a bunch of bourbons and stuff like that. But yeah, I haven't gone to any of the distilleries in Columbus, but a lot of the breweries carry the local Columbus booze. Yeah. Oh, Dylan said there's a couple videos from Ray's with millions of views on YouTube. I'll have to pull one of these up with the sound off. Yeah, one of the things that kind of slows down local distilleries is bourbon's so hot right now, but bourbon has to be aged 9 years or it's not bourbon. So a lot of distilleries will open up and then use bourbon from the big guys, Jim Beam and stuff like that at first until they could get theirs going, or sell it as moonshine until they could so white whiskey until they could turn it into bourbon. But yeah. Oh, I do have YouTube on live chat. That doesn't mean I won't miss one though. Once in a while. Oh, Oyo is in Cincy, Pudgy. I didn't know that. I was thinking that was Columbus. Oh, Watershed is in Columbus. That's right. Hey, what's up, Blanky? Oh, so Dylan made a video mainly about Watershed. Nice. Oh, Robert said it only has to be 3 years to be bourbon. Okay. Why did I have nine? Or is nine just kind of a standard that people really like? I think 6 and 9 are kind of a mark of a good one. Yeah, in new charred oak barrels for sure. And then they send a lot of the charred oak barrels. Now they send them to breweries, but used to send them to Scotland to make Scotch in after their bourbon was made in them in the States. Let's see. Oh, Patrick was talking about the music. You posted the links in the Discord. Cool. Oh yeah, Patrick's got his new Richie here too. Oh, that looks rad. I think we talked about this before, but what is your front bag on that one? It kind of looks like in between a Ron's Bags Fabio chest and a Swift Industries Zeitgeist. I do like those Richies. I love that color. Plus, wasn't this one of Russ from Pathless Pedals' favorite bikes that he reviewed? Oh, it's a Bags by Bird. Nice. Yeah, that's rad. Really like it. You also posted a couple. Oh yeah, here from your bike packing trip. Wow, that looks amazing too. That is some. Those are the kind of gravel roads that we don't have as much of around here. Oh, that's beautiful too. That's really cool. Oh, you're right, Nicholas. PLP was all about the Outback. This is the Ascent. You're right. I was thinking that was. I had the Outback in my head. Oh, Patrick said he was also super tempted by the Outback, but the steel fork on the Ascent won him over. Nice. Why is that? For the way that it handles, like the way that steel handles, or because you wanted to be able to put a heavier load on the steel fork. Go back to the photo while we're talking about it. Did I still have it up there? No. There we go. Oh, it's a Ritchie wheel set as well. Yeah, what is that more? Yeah, is that more clearance, more of a mountain bike style on the Ascent? Because those look like pretty fat meats, as Russ would say. Oh, so yeah, Dylan did say the Ascent seems so good, nothing like a rigid steel mountain bike. Awesome. And Pudgy talking about Bourbon, Buffalo Trace, and Whistle Pig. I like both of those. So Dylan, you bought a mountain bike to replace your S7? Oh wow. Pipe Dream Serious. We'll have to pull that up. I'm not familiar with that one. Building it next week. More progressive geometry. Nice. So Patrick said on the Ascent, which we're looking at, yeah, to ride loaded and steel is real. Yeah. I'm kind of torn on the having put the carbon fork onto my gravel bike on the whole thing. Like my old steel fork was just, I mean, I can't remember. I think I handed it to Pudgy and he couldn't believe how heavy it was. So for me, the carbon fork really took a lot of weight off this bike, and this one's so overbuilt that I don't think it had as much of the springiness as typical steel forks do. But yeah, I do like the way steel forks feel on my vintage bikes for sure. But so Dylan, are you going to sell the S7 or and move the components over? Let me pull up the bike you're talking about. I am not familiar even with that brand. And as always, that doesn't mean anything negative. It's just there's plenty of stuff I'm not familiar with. So wow, Patrick said he got the wheels on the Ritchie sale site for $500. Carbon boost wheel set. That's amazing. Nice. And Patrick said the Ascent geometry is similar to the Fargo. Okay, yeah, Salsa Fargo. Pudgy was confirming how stupid heavy the original steel fork from my Raleigh Tamland 2 is. I just think it is an earlier gravel bike with disc brakes and they overbuilt it, maybe. Or, I don't know, maybe it's something they had from something else sitting around and they painted it to match. It is dumb. Oh, Dylan said he's selling the S7 and moving all the components over. Oh, these are British bikes, or is this just a British website? Let me pull this up here. The ultimate do-it-all chromo hardtail frame, optimized for 100 to 120 millimeter forks. Fits 29 at 2.6 or 27.5 at 2.8. Get a bigger shot here. Huh. So the S7 was titanium, wasn't it? So you're going from titanium back to steel. I was just in Dirty River tonight and talking to Micah, and he's thinking of building up a titanium gravel bike. Dylan said he's got a Surly fork so he could run it rigid, but it's mainly going to have a Cane Creek Helm 130 on it. And Patrick was saying how light the Ascent is even as a steel bike. Nice. Wow, the Ascent is as light as your cross-check setup single speed? That's amazing. This is an interesting photography choice, in my opinion. What color is yours in Dylan? Yeah, huh. So Pipe Dream Cycles, but why does it say Moxie.bike at the top? What is the house? They say a rigid 29er chromo fork is available, which complements the frame and is perfect for load carrying bike packing duties. See what the main page looks like. Pudgy asked what titanium gravel bike Micah is looking at. Talked about a number of them. Uh, one thing he's kind of looking at though is more something he could get, from Dirty River. So possibly an All City, but he's not sold on any of that. They were talking about another one today. We mentioned pretty much every titanium bike possible. Some were too expensive. We were talking about wild bikes, but like you said, that's out of the price range. So, oh, Dylan, you got the green one? Nice. Yeah, that's the one I really thought was looking sharp, but I didn't want to say that. So, Jay Dandy said geometry for mountain bikes is above his comprehension. I would say too, it's above my understanding, just because I'm not into mountain bikes. Like I just don't. Well, I don't have them. I mean, I have my 2001 Trek. That's my winter bike, and then I ride my gravel bike as a mountain bike. So yeah, I don't know a ton about mountain bike geometry myself, beyond like when I'm reading like, I know full suspension. I know this is a downhill bike. This is a cross country bike. I'm starting to wrap my head around some of that, but yeah, it's not my expertise either. So Pudgy said Dylan joined the Slack. HA Hardtail Club. So Lanky said he wants to go ride in the UK, Lake District, Scotland. So many interesting looking places. Yeah, I definitely would love to get over there. I would love to do like I would love to take my bike over there because I love the combination of, seems like, those small country roads with tons of really cool climbs in the UK that then go off into some gravel trails and even single track. I've loved watching, even like when Lachlan Morton does that whole race across the island, just all the cool terrain. But yeah. And then a lot of the cycling stuff that I started watching on YouTube when I got back into bikes was all British stuff, whether it be GCN, the big guys, or even some other stuff that I still watch, like Francis Cade and stuff like that. It just looks so cool over there. Oh, HA, head angle. Gotcha, Pudgy. Yeah. I was just talking to a friend the other day when I was out. Actually, I posted a picture of riding. I would stop by Whiskerton, the lighting company, to pick up some new products to photograph for them. And he was talking about a couple places he had been mountain biking. Then I ran into him in Dirty River today, and he was actually looking at some mountain bikes because he had been doing it on his all city gravel bike as well, and he wanted something more capable. And that's one of the things I've been saying, and when I was talking to Lenky too and seeing his photos, I want to do a little more mountain biking next year. Um, I'll never I'm never someone who's going to get totally into it or totally extreme or be launching over jumps, but it's just fun. So I just want to get to some more of the trails that I've never gone to. And even if I'm walking over rock gardens, I don't care. I don't care. I'm not at 40, 43, 42, 43, whatever age I am. I just like, it's fun to do it and I know my limits and I still enjoy it. So we actually went to Hampton a week ago Monday, took Erin out there for her first time. I have a video that I think, yeah, it's already done. It'll be out on Thursday morning, already uploaded and scheduled. So Erin's first attempt at Hampton. But Hampton I like a lot because you could ride it on anything pretty much. It's easy, it's flowy. But yeah, I still want to go check out some more of the other spots that aren't that far. We need some more of these comments. Oh yeah, GB Duro, Lanky, the Lachlan video I was thinking of. Yeah. Yeah, even that, like when you guys are talking about the suspension travel. So even I watch Dustin Klein videos when he's on a mountain bike, or Terry Berenson rides full suspension too. Like really cool. Like man, he does some nut stuff now. He's getting really good at mountain biking. Actually, he was just out. Did you guys? I posted a link when he was live streaming from Twitch in the Discord that he was just out at a mountain bike festival where they had like all the tents and all the mountain bike manufacturers, and then you could ride a pump track right there, and there were shuttles, and you could ride into town. I'm trying to think of what city it was in, but yeah, all the mountain bike stuff and listening to all that, and like yeah, like travel, like it doesn't mean anything to me. Like when I know like millimeters of like a stem length, or when we're talking about millimeters on a tire size, like that's all something that I think that's probably what Jay Dandy's talking about too. Something that I could visualize and now all means something to me. Whereas like suspension travel is not something I could picture. The only suspension fork I ever had was on my Trek 4900 and it got beat up and worn out, and now I just have a steel fork on that bike. So yeah, even with droppers, like when they talk about the amount of drop, like that's not something I could visualize because I don't have one. I more and more when I mountain bike on my gravel bike understand why now it might even make sense to have droppers on gravel bikes. But yeah, it's kind of that's just something that's beyond my. I just don't ride them. So yeah. Yeah, Jay Dandy said mountain biking is a good workout. Use some different muscles, and that's kind of don't really talk about it in the video, but Erin was talking about it after just how tired she felt, and I'm like, yeah, all those quick accelerations, and you know, especially Hampton, you have a lot of that steep up and down where it really does like wear you out in a different way than any kind of longer climb or your typical road climb or gravel climb. Yeah, Nicholas was asking about Terry saying he was out in Arizona for Thompson. Yeah, so him and Jason from Affinity, who mostly makes track bikes, they were out there, and it seems like Thompson. They were like working the Thompson booth, and then he also had a Thompson. Terry had a Thompson logo on all his streams, and they were kind of, yeah. I think they got. I think it was a sponsored trip by Thompson, is the way I took it. I think he said that too. Whenever I watch Terry on Twitch, I'm usually like working on photos and like kind of checking it out and then working on photos. So I sometimes miss some stuff. But he also did make a second YouTube channel that has all his Twitch live streams. They get uploaded like the next day or something like that. He must have figured out a way to automate that, I assume. But And then Dylan was saying mountain biking is a good workout, but it's easy to get burnt out. Yeah, I could see that. That's what I've always talked about. I do have some friends who just like I look at their Stravas and they go to East Rim mountain bike trail around here. If you're not familiar, um, like daily, and I can't imagine going and doing it every single day. But they must, yeah, must that fast twitch muscle must get in such good shape from doing that, right? Oh, was that the Sedona Mountain Bike Festival? Yeah, maybe that. I think it was Sedona Mountain Bike Festival, Dylan. Yeah. Hey, what's up, CJ Thompson? I agree. Variety is key to avoiding burnout. That's why I think I have a lot of fun when I do get out to the mountain bike trails because it's different, you know. Like there are plenty of days where I just want to get on my bike and ride and not think. We were talking to a friend. He's kind of more of an old school roadie, our buddy Stu, and he was saying how he doesn't like mountain biking because he doesn't like to have to pay attention, which is an interesting perspective too, which I feel like isn't a problem because I don't do it that much, but I feel like if I did it all the time, it's like, yeah, you don't, maybe sometimes you just want to pedal your bike. I think that's why I could enjoy a trainer in the winter. It's when it's really awful outside, I don't have to think about it. I could just put on some cycling shorts and a t-shirt and pedal the trainer. But what did Nicholas miss? Oh, he spelled Thompson wrong. Yeah. We were talking about that too. I think Thompson, I think we were looking it up on one stream. They recently put out a titanium frame, didn't they? Back to the titanium thing. So Rick said mountain biking is dangerous. It's when you're going to get hurt, if not if. And I mean, I think you could say that about anything. I mean, if you know, overstep your skill set, you could get hurt. I mean, I don't descend on the road faster than I feel comfortable. I don't ride gravel faster than I feel comfortable. Like Hampton, like could I get hurt? I mean, like I could get hurt anywhere, but I'm not crushing it beyond my skill level. And the better I get and say like the faster I start to hit some of the stuff, does it increase a chance that something can go wrong? I mean, yeah, but I guess I don't totally agree with that sentiment, like because I'm not just someone who hits anything with reckless abandon. So depends on what you do. I mean, I'm sure there's some when I look at some of those trails, those double black diamond things in Sedona, and Terry just had some in his stories where it just looks like a pile of rocks. That is just beyond like that's hike a bike to me. I wouldn't even be in the saddle for that kind of stuff. So yeah, I mean if you went there and just tried to ride stuff like that, then yeah, you're probably gonna hurt yourself no matter, if you're not skilled enough for that. So yeah, and Pudgy said for fitness you can run the same route over and over again, but it would no longer be fun. Uh, and that's kind of that's how I feel. But then I clearly have friends who don't seem to feel that way. I don't know. I think Large Marge compared it the other day when we were talking to like about skateboarding in the same parking lot with the same obstacle over and over again, uh, and how that's not for him. But yeah, but then again, growing up when I was in my teens, it's exactly what we did. I pushed up and down the same parking lot, trying to kickflip. So, but yeah, anymore, that's not what I'm excited about. So, Patrick said he's gotten hurt taking a leak. Well, I don't know how many of you were here, but I've told the story a number of times. I was pulling a weed in the garden in the alley out back and stood up with a twist and something tweaked and I could barely move for 2 weeks. So, yeah. And I'm not like I don't mean to argue with you, Rick. Rick, I'm not. Yeah, you said if you mountain bike like a wimp, you'll be fine. Exactly. Yeah. I don't think I entirely mountain bike like a wimp, but I pretty wimpy compared to Dylan when, as Obsolescence would know, he was there with us that day. I felt like I was going kind of fast, and then like Dylan would be out of sight. Dylan and his buddies would just be like so much farther a skill set beyond, you know. And then I'm taking Erin out for her first time on Monday, where I could probably on the spectrum be disappearing that far on her, you know. So what did Donkey say? Did I miss that? No cars and mountain biking. Yeah, that's always nice too. Yeah, it's the thing too. I ride road all the time. Is that statistically more dangerous than mountain biking? I have no idea. So, oh, that's right. Nicholas said Thompson put out TI hardtail and gravel frames. Yeah, the gravel bike looked interesting, but probably a little too aggressive. Yes, yes, pork. For anyone who doesn't, the reference is there was a guy who was a troll, and he kept changing his name, but one of the names was Yes, Yes, Pork. And I think it was Yes, Pork, then Yes, Yes, Pork, and then a bunch of stuff. Started out actually kind of funny, um, and I thought it was just someone we knew being funny, but then got annoying to the point that we had to ban him. So you're out, Nicholas. See you, man. Thanks for stopping by. Always nice chatting. What do you guys? What are med flights? Mount Snow Yard Sale back in the day was a frequent flyer for med flight. Oh, gotcha. Yeah, putting it together now. YouTube search Mount Snow Yard Sale. All right. Whoops. Definitely copied and pasted that wrong. Oh, so it's skiing in the winter and mountain biking in the summer is what it looks like. I see 2003 up here. I'm going to turn down the desktop audio. Yeah, that looks pretty brutal. Yeah, look at that. Like, those don't even look like 26-inch wheels, do they? The suspension looks so different, too. Oh, the number. Maybe it's just because the number was in the front there. No, no, those are old school kind of. Well, it said 2003, so yeah, real early. Bicycle Dad said he's new to mountain biking. Was that called a faceplant? Oh, so those are 26s. They probably just look small watching them on like YouTube now that I'm so used to seeing mountain bikes look so different because my mountain bike's a 26. So, oh, they have discs. Yeah, I guess we have looked at old mountain bikes on the channels before, but yeah, disc brakes in 2003. I always forget that that was a thing because they took so long to come over to the all the other disciplines of cycling. And Dylan said he feels like people crash less these days. Yeah, I mean that's been a big conversation, right? That bikes are so so well built for this, like so well suited for this kind of stuff. You know, I was just watching a video. I think I was talking about a few weeks ago about, and how you used to be so far over the front of old regular mountain bikes. Like these are obviously more farther back and you know bikes more suited towards this, but yeah, just in general, just mountain bikes are so much perfected for what they can do. Lanky, you gonna try this now? Yeah, Patrick said they look like motorcycles. That's yeah. It's really the front forks really do look like that. I also totally get the fun of like downhill stuff, but and like just the rush. But like when I see like just ski resorts where you ride the lifts up, I always just feel like you need to earn the downhills, but you know, riding bikes like this back up the hill, especially modern downhill bikes would be no fun. But it's kind of why I like the mix. Something like Hampton, is more what I'm gonna like, where you still get some like thrills, you get some bomb some hills, hit some curves, but then you're still able to ride back up, you know, so you could do it on a bike that could do both. But this is a whole nother element. These are people who are look at that, holy shit, yeah, just crazy and awesome in a different way, you know. Yeah, that is some brutal terrain there. But again, like a modern mountain bike and a modern pro would probably just like crush that with no problem, right? It was probably more exciting to watch back then when it took a little more skill. These are guys who know how to crash for the most part as you watch them like run out of it, but that last one was brutal. Back out of here. Dylan said the last time he was in Colorado, he pedaled up Vail many times. Most ski resorts you can pedal up for free. Nice. Well, I'm just saying, don't on certain bikes it wouldn't just be a nightmare to pedal back up. Like if you're riding a full like again, I'm not the mountain bike world guy, but like a downhill full suspension bike. It's all in the storytelling. Yeah, I think I have a friend who works at Earthquaker Devices, and the only kind of riding he does is the places where you chairlift up. Like I'm not saying you can't ride up. I'm not saying there isn't a route up for people who want to, but like that's the only style of riding he does is like full on downhill, like if that's the right term even, but like crazy fast, crazy steep, crazy rough terrain. He doesn't ride anything else. Like he doesn't ride a bike to work. He doesn't ride a bike on the road. He doesn't ride gravel. Just full on downhill stuff. But again, you know, what adrenaline junkie, right? Which is totally fine. I'm the opposite. Like I just love bikes and I want to ride everywhere. So yeah. Patrick said downhill bike not meant for pedaling. Yeah. Dylan said he thinks Vail is about 2,000 feet a lap. Yeah. Pudgy talking about the YouTube video, he said that section was arguably the hardest section of any season's Norville race. It was later removed, but for about 10 years it was where the New England locals made up points in the series. That would not hard to believe, yeah. Let me let's do a quick let's do a break. Um, thank the members in the break. Be right back. I'm going to take a leak. Gonna tune about it. I just want to take a quick moment during this break to thank our channel members. Their financial support really does make it possible to do this many live streams and produce this many videos. So thanks a lot. If you're interested in joining, we could drop a link on the screen in the chat right now that you could check out and follow that link and join the channel and get some special perks too. Anyways, thanks to everybody else too for tuning in. I really enjoyed doing this. Check out the merch store and also drop a like on this video. Thanks, every little bit helps. We will be back in a couple minutes.
I wanna tune a boat. Give me tune a boat. I wanna tune a boat. Give me tune a boat.
All right. Tuna boat. And hello, hello. Little louder, little louder. There we go. Tuna boat merch. That would be a funny thing to have. Tuna boating shirts. I don't even. What does a tuna boat look like? Might as well find out. There you go. For sale. We should get it. We should all chip in and get a tuna boat. We need to see it. There's no pictures of any tuna boats with tunas on them, you know? Like, how do I know it's a tuna boat if they haven't caught a tuna? Oh, here we go. Look at this guy. He's got airbrushed or whatever. Tuna's painted on the boat. That's got to be what they were singing about, right? Which body of water will we float the tuna boat? Um, well, we're not going to catch any tuna in the Great Lakes, that's for sure. But you could also go out the St. Lawrence Seaway, and we could hit the ocean, right? Where is East Coast? Is don't they get catch tuna in the off the East Coast? Super Shad is a tuna boat. When we were in Connecticut, Pudgy would sing the tuna boat song every time we went into the bathroom. Said he can't go without it, without hearing it anymore. So, yeah, tunas in the Northeast, like when we used to go to Ocean City, Maryland. I remember they had big like, what do you call that? Mummified tuna. What is that when you? What is that when you preserve an animal? Yeah, we go out to the go out to New England and tuna boat. I have a friend in Boston, right? He could manage our tuna boat. Taxidermy, that's it. And then Patrick used, what do they call that? The fancy member fancy member chat. I wonder if this. I need to look, and it'd be cool if Stream Elements. So Stream Elements is what makes the super chats pop up. It's a web service, and all the overlays like my logo and the members and the subscribers that show up on screen. Latest member thing. I wonder if they'll add a thing to make these member chats pop up that aren't actually super chats. That'd be cool if they would, so we could have it read those too. But mummified tuna. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm talking for over an hour. I got to come up with something. Mummified tuna is apparently where we're at. Yeah, it was. Oh, that's the other thing. I did put up that. I put up a poll on YouTube about riding in the winter, and I assume with. And I'm thinking, riding in the winter in this part of the country obviously is very different than what Patrick and Rusty, and obviously a number of people who watch are doing. But how many people will ride outdoors in the winter? And I wasn't surprised. 87%. And I think we're up to about 50 votes, said they do ride outside in the winter. 4% said they don't ride outdoor in the winter. And 9% said they ride inside on the trainer in the winter. So I always like just throwing up those polls and seeing what people have to say. But I assume with this channel, most people would be outdoor riders. Like I said, I didn't used to be. I would ride outdoors when it was cold but not snowy.
Patrick Barabay super chatted $2. All your tuna belong to US.
Why did it go with U.S. instead of us? With the why it decided to say that. Pudgy said milestone chat. That's what it's called. Hey, what's up, Gary? Gary said he likes to hibernate, so. How imperialistic. Nice. Do you have a winter bike, Gary? Because right, you have that. That is your blue Fuge. Is the Fuge a road bike?
Rick Urbanovsky super chatted $1.99. Hey, I'm a mountain biker. Ow 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 ouch banana.
And that why so fast? Ow 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 ouch banana. We're gonna have a bunch of Russians on here now. Oh, there's Gary's bike. Yeah. Oh yeah, that one's definitely a skinny tire road bike. Going flat pedals though, huh? Yeah. Which I mean, I ride flat pedals. Out in Barberton, right? Isn't that Barberton? No. Oh, Liberty Lakes. That looks just like that memorial in Barberton. Yeah. Oh, you're in Texas. That's right. Yeah. Yeah, we have a lake just 10 miles from here, and I all of a sudden I was like, wait, what the hell? Yeah. Everything's a winter bike in Texas. I like that. Yeah. Hey, good night, Bicycle Dad. Thanks for joining us again. Yeah. Oh yeah, the in the member thanks, the latest member. I'm gonna pop it up real quick just so I could see it. Am I able to fast forward or not?
I just want to take a quick moment during this break to thank our channel members. They're
Standy super chatted 99 cents.
Oh, it didn't say the banana. Did you use the wrong kind of emoji? Oh, Gary's east of Houston. Okay, gotcha. I also like how they pronounce Jay Dandy's name. Jdandy. Yeah, where do you get that banana? How does he have some special cartoon banana that he's able to pop in there, but that my British guy can't read? Jdandy. I lost my train of thought on where. Oh, yeah. Carl F. Has he been in the chat? Do you guys know the member Carl F? Or I'm trying to, I'm often buzzed on these streams, so sometimes I forget. But yeah, anyways, thanks to Carl F. for being the latest member. But yeah, I'm trying to think if he's popped in the chat or in the Discord or on Instagram. But it was a sticker. Gotcha. Apparently my British guy can't read the stickers, so. In all honesty, I can't even remember why the banana thing started. Or was it just funny because the way the guy says banana? But I remember when we first figured out Super Chats and I accidentally used the British guy and that started popping up that first night. You guys were like making me rich because everyone wanted to make that guy say banana. So, and by rich, I think I made like solid 25 bucks. Yeah. Jadandi. Yeah, that's exactly how it was, Rick. Jadandi. Like you said, when people start whipping out bananas, he's out. Whipping out bananas is every bike ride. Yeah, what are you guys thinking about winter riding? I know, well, like Dylan and I know Pudgy doesn't mind it at all. He likes the cold, but you guys don't get it quite as bad as we do up here. At least, I mean, well, you get a few degrees, but then you don't get as much of the snow because we get the lake effect even here in Akron if the weather's coming straight from the north. So I'm really I was thinking I should make a video that's like 5 things I like about winter cycling to be positive about it, because there are a few things that I do like, which is when we ride on our Wednesday nights and it snowed like a foot, like there's nobody else out. And it only takes 10 miles to get a good workout because you're working so hard. I think that's like my favorite thing about winter riding is we go hit the towpath and there's no one there. We could get warmed up, and if someone wants to smoke a joint or we're going to drink a couple beers, you don't have to worry about seeing another soul out there. But and you know, you don't even need your headlights on a night where it's clear and the moon is out. It's kind of, I think that's kind of what I like about winter riding. It's pretty, there's a novelty to it. What we did on Sunday was not fun. I mean, we had a good time, but it was like 35 and snowing, so the snow was just soaking you, and the trails weren't staying snowy, they were getting wet, so you were getting soaked from the road. None of us were riding full fendered bikes. Uh, but yeah. Oh, Rick said banana seed, and that's right. Yeah. Second hour is the banana hour. CJ said give it to him. He's excited for the winter riding this season. I think, and someone else said this, and it might have been in a comment on the video or in the Discord, that like, I think Summit Perry said it. He said, yeah, like 1 or 2 months of winter and then he's done. And that's what happens. Me and Large always talk about this, that like the first few times it snows, and again, I usually wouldn't have gone out like we did on Sunday because that was just too wet of a snow. And like we were sitting at a brewery and we were all drenched and we were all wearing wool, so it was still insulating, but then you're sitting there and you're cold and wet. I prefer 25 to 28 where the snow is dry enough and it's not super freezing, but I'll ride down to about 18, 19 is about, and I've ridden colder than that too. But yeah, so there's a novelty at first. It changes everything up. Everything looks different. Like all the rides feel different, and I'd like that new element that winter and snow will bring into the mix for a little while. But then it just wears me out, and this is what I was saying. Me and Large talk about, like, if you've had a cold and a long hard winter, by February, and then if it's going into March, like, you just want to get out and ride your bike and not like spend all this time thinking about your clothing and the right bike stuff, and you know, do I need to ride the bike with studded tires, like, and like I'm only going to go 10 miles and my feet are going to be cold and I'm going to still feel like I worked really hard. So there is an element of I like it at first, bring it on, change things up, and then it's like, can I just ride my bike the way I want to again? Can I go bike packing again? Because you know, winter here is just not, that stuff's not fun. So says the guy who wants to do a winter group ride in Akron. Yeah, so Pudgy, like I'm not, like I said, I do ride still, so it'd be, you know, misery loves company, as they say. You know, so Rick said he's proudly snowmo-sexual. I like that. Oren, hey, what's up, man? He said there's a deadly soaked leaf compost in the bike gutters, effing trees. Yeah, and that was something. So Aaron had never ridden in the snow, and the snow was actually starting to accumulate a little on the trails. But and they were paved while we were riding on Sunday. But I was telling her, like, you really don't have to worry about it because the ground's still so warm, your rubber is contacting the trails. Whereas if it was snowing like it was on Sunday, but in February, I would not have been riding my rally. I would only have ridden that in studded tires on that pavement because when the snow would hit the ground like that, it would be freezing, whereas the ground's still warm here, and it totally changes that kind of stuff up. But one thing we did have to be conscious of is there were lots of spots where there were wet leaves mixing in with the snow, and that is definitely a deadly combination. So Lanky says he could never get the clothing right, hot, cold, both on the same ride, and he hates cleaning his bike, but he loves no people on the trail. So we were talking about this too on Sunday. It's funny because we had a quick, in Ohio, and I'm Midwest, and I'm sure the East Coast as well. This whole region, like we had a really beautiful October, and into November it was still pretty warm, and then like kind of some crashes into the cold, so you're not acclimated to it. So I get better every winter at dialing in the right clothing, but this year it was hard to get ready for it when you're not acclimated. But I do like by middle of winter, I have no trouble knowing like I look at the temperature and I know exactly what to wear. The other thing, once you get into winter here, like the highs and lows, if it's, global warming has changed all of this a little bit, but the highs and lows don't change that much. So what you're wearing when you leave the house is what you're going to be wearing when you come home. What I found is with really cold weather, and so I say really cold, say below 30, I need to be like cold when I leave because it's just like running. And I used to be a runner, and I think this helped probably with the skill of like what clothes to wear. Like you have to be cold when you're leaving because you don't want to get wet and sweaty. Like that's like a death sentence, especially if you're going to stop somewhere. That's more important. What I find I'm doing now, like I was saying on Sunday, I was dressed for what I will wear when it's 25 in February, but I'm just not prepared for it. But then if you do something with a climb, all of a sudden I find I'm getting too hot. So I do make sure I have zippered stuff and all that. And it's probably a little different for you, Lanky, too, because you do like more of the roadie style clothing that I don't wear. So I like when it comes to thermal bibs and all that kind of stuff, I'm less aware of what would work out best. But I know what thickness of tights I wear under what pants, and the wool base layer now almost always, and how many layers between my wind jacket and all that kind of stuff. I really do get it dialed in over the winter, and I know that by like I said, by late December, January, I know exactly what to put on. But this time of year is where it's more confusing because you're getting acclimated. Just the way more factors. You might be getting wet from the snow. Rick said his clothing is almost dialed in already. Yeah. And Gary said it was almost 80 on his ride today. Yeah. Stream Elements is really dominating. So Stream Elements is on a timer, and each one of those little things is oh, I still have the event thing up there. I need to delete that. I kind of forgot about Stream Elements. But Stream Elements, each little thing that it'll type is on a timer, and I have them all set different, but I'm sure once in a while, depending on how long I've gone, they could all align like that. Yeah. And I do want to turn most of that off. It was kind of a thing I was experimenting with when I was starting this. And at least slow it down, because the streams used to only last for an hour. I would get to 10 o'clock and I'd be like, all right, we're done. So, yeah. Blackball said, and Blackball's in Toronto, if you don't know. So he said, every year at this time, he looks at his box of winter cycling clothing and wonders what it all means. Then he overdresses for a ride and it all comes back to him. Yeah, I think that's what a long ramble is kind of exactly what that meant. So, yeah, it just takes a little bit to get back into the swing of it, because you always think like, I don't want to be cold, like I don't want to leave the house and be cold. I always said too, like in the really cold weather, there's this period I leave the house, I have enough heat built up in me, but a mile down the road, I start to get really cold, and say when it's in the low 20s, like my face starts hurting, all that kind of stuff, and I get really worried, and for about like 3 minutes there, I'm absolutely miserable. But then, just like when you do anything in life, when you're out for a run, if you're someone who meditates, all of a sudden, like, you kind of forget about it. And then you realize, like, oh, now I'm warm. I've worked up that, I'm fine. So one thing that's rough is that, like, on our Wednesday night rides, we meet at the shop, and, you get there, and for me, it's 3.5 miles is enough for me to get warmed back up. Then it's like, I don't want to walk into the shop and lose all that and then have to do it all over again. And it's funny, some nights when it's really cold, we're standing around the bike shop, and me and Large were just talking about this, but we like break out the beers and everyone's drinking, everyone's looking at each other. It's like, you hear someone crack one. It's like, oh, one more before we head out there, you know. But we still do it. We tough it out. There are some nights when we get like 10, 15 miles, go into a bar, order food, drink a few beers, and the worst thing in the world is walking back out of that place. You have to, you're unlocking your bike, you're doing all the stuff to stand there, getting all the right gloves on, if you're not using a computer, you're trying to, before you put the gloves on, you're starting Strava. And that moment to me is like the worst thing about winter riding. But then again, same thing. You're a couple miles down the trail and you forget about it and you're chatting again and you're the only ones out there and you're kind of having a blast. So. Hi, I'm Stream Elements. You want to go mountain biking? Fudgy, that's because after an hour there are only 3 of us still awake. Well, Blackball's saying he adds to his collection every year. Technology changes, and I do. I think I find like I add like one thing that makes sense every year. Like my parents got me a down jacket last year, like for Christmas, and I don't ride in it, but it's something that I now always put in the bike bag and put on. When we stop. Like I said, for Connecticut, I got those like 3D weave wool pants that I wore also on Sunday in the wet, and they just, man, when those are damp, they feel so good compared to anything else I've ever had. Yeah, so technology changes, and then also you just learn what actually works better over time, Gary said you got to be drunk on winter bike rides. For the most part, like, so on the group rides, definitely there's a lot of buzz, like getting a buzz on. Like Sunday when we got to the Micah wanted to see this Bell Tower Brewing in Kent, and we all wanted to go there too. We've only been there once, but it was one of those things where it's like, one more round before we head out the door, for sure. I do, like, if it's dry, say, in the winter and it's very cold, I do dress to, like, go and do, like, maybe 20 or 25 miles with no stops. I'm just going to, like, blast through, it, which is a different thing. And then, just depends. But definitely on the group ride, the winter group ride, yeah. Oh, Blackball said the worst thing about winter riding is getting a flat in freezing conditions. Yeah, having your hands out and trying to deal with that. Yeah, it's the worst. And I'm gonna jinx myself. I don't think I've ever had a flat with my studded 45 North tires, which are like, oh, they're right here. When you need the prop, 2-inch. So these are 26 by 2 inches. 45 North grab dials. I don't believe, unless I don't know if Large is still awake, unless he remembers. I don't think I've ever flatted on these guys. I mean, they're so beefy, and it'd be really hard to pinch flat on them. But stuff happens. But the reason I have these out too is because the thing I was thinking, and Pudgy will be interested in this. Pudgy gave me those really cool spin tri-spoke wheels, and I was just going to always run those, but I don't want to run them in the winter now, I realize, because it's not because I'm worried about the bearings or even the carbon, it's the brake tracks. All the junk that like kind of gets on your wheels when you're like riding in the winter. I just, they're such cool wheels, I just don't want to wear them out in that way. So I actually went to the bike shop today to pick up a new my old Trek is an 8-speed cassette, so I could have these wheels with the winter tires always on them. And so when I'm riding in the winter, I could just throw these on, and then when it's not winter, I could switch back to or when it's not snowy, switch right back to the spin wheels with my non-studded tires on it. So, I only had one cassette and I moved it over to the spins, and now, so I got a second one, so now I could just swap the wheel sets like that, which I'm excited about. So Don't say fudge. Rick said the best part of winter riding is pooping your pants to get warm. Definitely the banana hour. It's banana 30. Rick said he's okay to run tubeless all winter. Um, I know Pudgy mentioned to me, because when I flatted on my tubeless, and there are new wheels and new tires, and I flatted and no sealant came out, and he was thinking maybe it was really cold, but it wasn't. It was only like 40. So Pudgy mentioned that there is sealant for below freezing, right? So someone else would know better. I think he's commenting right here. Rick, there are cold temp sealants that are worth looking into. Orange Seal Sub-Zero sealant. Okay, yeah. So I do ride the gravel bike when it's below freezing, but not when there's a ton of snow on the ground. I just don't, my Raleigh is kind of my forever bike, and I don't want to run it in too shitty of conditions, so I don't even have studded tires for it. But yeah, I was not aware of that. So, but I've also run tubeless tires completely down to no sealant and had them last me a long time too. So that's all luck. But yeah. Yeah, Pudgy said not a bad plan since the salt sand will eat the tracks on the spin wheels. Exactly. Yeah, so it's not the wheels themselves I'm worried about, brake tracks. And they already have, the spin wheels already have a considerable amount of brake track wear. But since I don't ride that bike that much, it's never anything I've been worried about. Yonda was telling me at the shop today, though, too, that I should, once in a while, especially when I'm running the spins, since I do want to preserve them, take like a file and give it like 2 rubs to my brake pads every so often just to make sure I don't have any grit in there that is ruining them, which is a good idea for something that is so cool. Spending a little extra care on something that you want to preserve makes sense. So looking at these, Gary says he doesn't miss the snow. Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting because, well, I guess it's, yeah, in Ohio, like once the leaves finally drop, which they've lasted a long as I can remember here right now, there's still bright, colorful leaves, a few left out there. Once they're gone, like this city looks ugly. Like Akron looks really ugly. You see all the power lines, like the leaf cover is what like makes this area look pretty. And so when it's gone and it's like just dry out, it looks really kind of gross. So the first couple times it snows, it looks really beautiful again. Like a clean, like fluffy snow that clings to all the trees. There's just something about it. I mean, it's, every Christmas picture you think of, painting, whatever, song. So I don't know if I'd miss it. I don't think I would ever miss the cold, but I think there is something about the snow that if I left, I would miss for a while. But again, like I said, it has its time limit. By February, late February, I'm ready, definitely ready for springtime, and hoping it's not going to be an overly rainy spring. So, Patrick asked, do cold conditions cause sealant to separate like using CO2 does? Huh. Oh, it freezes. Okay. Sealant could freeze. And Pudgy said Orange Seal Sub-Zero sealant with some glitter is his go-to for the winter. Yeah, I would, if I, yeah, because having tubeless for the winter seems like a really good idea. But again, if you, I mean, yeah, if you flat, you still just throw a tube in it, so it's not changing anything really. But are we anti-CO2 here? I'm a pump guy, but yeah. A pump guy. Quote me on that. CO3 is better. Yeah, it's one more. Right. And Gary says winter is a good time to build a badass bike. And yeah, that's too with the streams last winter was kind of fun because I built the Barry Hoban, which I really liked riding. I didn't put a ton of miles on it. I think only a few hundred, but just a really fun bike to ride. But yeah, it was like something to do on the live streams and like another neo retro bike to build. And then I built the single speed in late winter, which is a bike that I actually rode. It's a decent amount just to have a little city bike, or if I was going to a photo gig where I wanted to be like upright and nicer clothes and have the rack on it. So yeah, I think this winter my goal is to finally finish the look. There was no pressure on that because I really just haven't been riding aggressive road bikes, but I really want to get the look finished and just have it as a bike that I ride once in a while. But yeah, I don't know what other projects. Like I have the Schwinn Paramount that I picked up. It's a Japanese Paramount, not a Waterford Paramount. I had a garage sale. It's way too small for me, but the idea would be to build it for someone else. I was thinking maybe flat bar single speed, something like that. I don't know. But yeah, mess around with some bikes over the winter too. Also, winter not only is a good time, Gary, to, like Gary said, to build a new bike, but just to maintain or modify existing bikes. And when I say winter, of course, I'm talking about Ohio, Midwest winter. I do that a lot too, where something happens to one of my bikes in the summer, like one of my vintage road bikes, I just ride the other ones, instead of spending the time down here messing with it too much. But yeah, in the winter, I'll get back into like making sure everything, like all the different little things on the bikes are going well, or if there's something I knew I wanted to modify, do that stuff. So yeah, Rick said the worst thing about winter is salt. Yeah, I definitely need. I think to, like, as Large was telling me, put some frame saver in my rally after we rode that like 6-7 hours in the rain. And they were, I broke a shift cable at the end of that trip, so I had the shop fixing that for me. Um, I think either Yonda or Large said when they went to hang it, like on the rack after they were done with it, like water poured out of my frame. So yeah, that's another bad thing about winter. But I'm reading these comments here. Need to fit cycles in real life. What's up, Mile High? So, Mile High is from Common Birds, and so the winter riding video has their music, and the Nutmeg video is Mile High's music. But yeah, out in Fort Collins. How did I learn so much about bikes? Really just so I knew nothing about bikes, and I've talked about this a little bit before, but like I only had my Trek 4900 bike, and it was just my bike. Like it was just an old mountain bike. I didn't think anything of it. It was just my bike, and I didn't think of myself as a cyclist or anything about that. And then more and more when I started to ride with friends, now was that 6-7 years ago? Started to ride with Large Marge and my buddy Wes, and then Woody, and then got a weekly ride together. I started to just talk to them about bikes, learned a little from that. And then I started to watch YouTube channels about bikes, like first starting with GCN like people do. I always liked bike racing, watching bike racing anyways. So it was interesting to me, but not something I aspired to do or cared about owning those fancy bikes. But then I took my dad's old French 10-speed, his Motobacan, and I took it apart and rebuilt it. And I think then I started YouTubing stuff about specific, French stuff and all that. And then just kind of from there, bought a British Viscount, bought a French Peugeot, and yeah, just started to more and more learn about those bikes, read about the history of them. then I realized I wanted a bike that had drop bars and wider tires, and so I started building a bike like that, basically independently inventing a gravel bike, which was already a thing at the time that I had never heard of, and just yeah. And then someone introduced us to Otis, who opened a bike shop after we met him, and so it was just like a whole progression of you know wanting to ride different terrain and figuring out the bike that I wanted to do it on, wanting to ride vintage bikes, because I think just I like them. I like the way they feel. I like the way they look. But how can I modify them to do what I want them to do? So yeah, it was just YouTube, friends, the whole thing, and then it's just you know now at this last year, a ton of what I've learned about bikes is from everyone in the chat. Pudgy being like, "Oh, look up Bear Claw. Oh, I've never heard of that," or all that kind of stuff. So learned a ton about bikes just from doing this, for sure. Yeah, no, well, back to the CO2 thing. So Aaron carries both, and when I flatted with my Raleigh, it was sure nice to be able to use their CO2 to get, that initial blast of air back in there. But I never carry CO2. I always carry the pumps. Yeah. Dylan said most steel frames are ED coated these days, which is good for no frame saver needed. Yeah, I'm guessing mine being a 2014, that even if it was coated, it's probably worth still frame saving it, right? ED erectile dysfunction. Yeah, my main problem with CO2 is the wastefulness, but I mean that stuff's everywhere. But I mean, you're obviously throwing away those cartridges every time. But Mile High said, "Cool man. So there's hope for me yet." Figured I grew up around bikes my whole life. No, yeah, I am only. Like I said, my whole life I loved riding bikes, but I didn't think anything about like bikes or how they worked or bike culture or anything about that stuff. Like it did not register. I had a friend that I worked with on the farm, and we would ride bikes together, and he cared about that kind of stuff, and we would sit there and we would watch like the New York City Messenger videos, like early Lucas Brunel stuff that I thought was cool, but I didn't know anything. Like I never thought that I needed to get a different kind of bike to do that kind of stuff. Like when I watched like New York Bike Messengers, I never thought like, oh, I should get a fixie. I'm like, I have a bike that I ride around, kind of. Yeah. It was really just when I stopped working on the farm and moved here to my photography studio, got back into riding the mountain bike and started riding with friends and meeting more and more people. And yeah, more and more dawned on me like, it seems like these people are riding faster than me for way less effort. What is that? And then I like even got on my dad's French Motobacon. I'm like, oh, because road bike geometry suits me better. Drop bars suit me better. It was like that started my whole caring about bikes, like what bikes actually were. I think Instagram is probably a huge part of like being aware of bike culture too that didn't used to exist. But what's up, Brian? He said, speaking of French, sitting here touching up the paint on his Peugeot. I'm sure I'll miss Anjou. I would assume that would be the French pronunciation. Nice. That's awesome, man. That's one thing I've never gotten into. I watch a guy in the UK who does like full on vintage road bike restorations, and he does all the great little like retouching of the paint and then even like re-clear coating them. He basically strips them down, rebuilds them. I think it's called Bike It UK, and it's all about bike restorations, like 10-minute videos. But yeah, the painting thing, I'm not very skilled like with that kind of stuff. That's why I became a photographer, because I couldn't draw or paint. But I am always impressed when I see people retouch like the paint and all that stuff. So Patrick said he grew up with bikes his whole life, but most of what he knows he learned in the past 3 years. Yeah, that's kind of similar. That's definitely similar to my story. It was only as I, yeah, full on adult after because I couldn't ride when I worked on the farm very much because I worked from spring to fall, 7 in the morning till like 8 o'clock at night, and that's kind of when I stopped riding. And I would always hope that November had some good weather so I could get out on my bike, but that kind of put a like 10-year block on me, not even thinking about, you know, just thinking about getting air back in my tires and lubing the chain maybe would be the farthest I had gone with like bike knowledge during that era of my life. So yeah, it really was when I stopped working on the farm where I was like, oh, I love doing this. And yeah, just then getting to know more and more people who were into it. And then like even talking, like I didn't even know the terms. Like I didn't even know, you know, seat stays, chain stays. Like those weren't words that meant anything to me. Like 11 speed, 10 speed, 8 speed. I always thought a bike's gears were you multiplied by the 2 by. So I'm like, what do you mean 8 speed? My old Trek 4900 is 8 by 3, so it's a 24 speed. Didn't even know any of that stuff. Oh, Rick's talking about Old Shovel. I always forget to check out that channel. I need to subscribe. Gary said he's never got a flat on his Mazda or Fuji. That's crazy. Really on that Fuji? Let me see. I was looking for a comment I know I missed, but oh well. Can't find it. Mile High said, rode BMX all day as a kid, but knew nothing about him. Still don't. But we're giving you hope. Nice. Yeah, it just I am like I'm one of those people who is like a deep diver. Once I start to really get into something, then I kind of want to know everything about it. And like I mean, the same thing happened when like I always liked photography in high school and stuff like that, and I knew I wanted to get back into it. Then I was in a band in my 20s, and then when I got back into photography, I didn't just like get into what was going on now. I was reading like all the books about the history of photography and started collecting vintage cameras and I have a whole wall of cameras. I know how to, I know how to develop all different kinds of film now. Like it's just like I really when I get into something, I become fairly obsessive about it. It's part of my personality. And so getting back into bikes as an adult when there were no other distractions, when it wasn't just something else to do. I even commuted. I even bike commuted when I was younger, when I worked as a car wash manager in a band. But it's still never like I had so many other things going on. I had my day job and then my band was my goal. So I think like music and like, even with music, I know the years of all the albums. I'm not one of these guys who like, oh, I kind of like the Clash. I'm like, no, I mean, I know like the lineup on each album. I know, you know, the difference between the UK and the US version of the album, stuff like that. So I think that was kind of my obsession that kept me from swinging about knowing a ton about bikes. And then, like, yeah, getting them back into them as an adult, like, with less going on otherwise in my life at that point, anyways, is why I kind of like started to learn so much about how they work. And like, yeah, now I'm the same way I kind of was about music, where, um, you know, I know what years 10 speed group sets were out, 9 speed group sets were out, doing my Neo retro builds. Like I could look at a frame now and know if it's good or if it's a, Kmart piece of trash, type stuff. But yeah. Rick said all he needs to know is banana seat. Rick said I need to score my own video soundtracks in GarageBand. I wasn't the songwriter for sure. I was a bass player, but I mean, I need someone else like in music to like. My best friend Pete was the songwriter, guitar player, singer. Sometimes we had other singers sometimes, but yeah, that was not my cup of tea. Like I have an opinion on it, but I'm not the guy who's going to sit there and write music on their own. Like so. I had a bike with a banana seat growing up. I think it was a knockoff of those Schwinn Stingrays. Uh, it was my brother's, and I think even that was a garage sale bike that my brother had. Yeah, but it was definitely a banana seat, like Schwinn Stingray knockoff. All you need to know is Bromptons. All you need to know is trikes. Mile High said that's how he is. Recently has been watching physics. If anyone wants to know about the electron, we could talk about that. But limit screws, nope. One of the funny things about electrons that I've like learned because I'm kind of nerdy about everything. I love history. I do love science. Really, probably even more so nerdy about history than a lot of things. And I think that's why the thread will run through for me on bikes or cameras, whatever. I want to know the history of all that, or even where I work when I was a farm.
Standy super chatted $4.99. All you need to know is banana, 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 and a tuna boat.
Nice, Jadandy. Anyways, yeah. Thanks, J Dandy. Jadandy. Yeah, one thing that amazed me is we still went to school with like the atom as a picture, like a solar system, and now I've learned how like electrons, like they don't go in any kind of orbit. Like all you can do is calculate where they may be at any given time, how they just kind of appear around the nucleus, which I find fascinating. Anyways, we won't go down that rabbit hole too far, string theory and all that. But my lady has a question. How many beers do you pack? And do you ever get to buzz to ride home? My lady would have the answer to that question. So about how many beers we pack, it just depends on what we're doing. During the pandemic, we were the pandemic is still going on. Last year, like last summer, when we were all actually even keeping our distance from each other and even canceled our group ride going into the winter, we would bring all our beers. So we would all be carrying like 4 or 5 beers because we would just ride somewhere in the woods and sit, spaced out and drink them. It depends on what you're doing, obviously, how many beers you need. We do ride to a lot of breweries and stuff like that. For my Wednesday night group ride, I always throw a couple in the bag, depending on what we're going to do. But yeah. So, and do I ever get too buzzed to ride home? That's rare anymore. When I started dating my girlfriend Erin, it was a little more common for me to go out and drink a couple beers, maybe start to make a video, maybe end up at a bar where a friend was, and then, yeah, start pushing the bike home and call for a ride. I almost always get myself home on my bike now, so. Oh, yeah, double flat. I did get a ride home within the last month, Dylan. Yeah, so I was riding my single speed here, and I was bombing down a hill Memorial, and I flatted. I thought I only single flatted, but they're both flat. I have it on the stand here. That's why I'm looking over there. But so obviously it's an old Miata that I turned into a single speed, and it has like vintage cyclocross tires on it. But somehow double flatted, and I called my friend Brad, and by the time he came to pick me up, I was already passed out in the grass next to my bike. So yeah, I guess. So once this summer, I did call for a ride. Yeah. Dylan's out. Good night, Dylan. Patrick says he's never been too buzzed to ride, even when he was too buzzed to ride. It's funny because so with it being hilly around here, like when I first got back into cycling, I was dating a woman who lived in West Hill in Akron here, and I remember like going to leave like Highland Square, which drops down in Akron. Akron means high place, Acropolis, Akron, that's where it comes from. But so like downtown kind of sits on a hill, and I do remember a couple times like being buzzed and starting out on a downhill made me really uncomfortable and I was really shaky. But when I needed to, so I've walked down hills in Akron, and then as soon as I needed to put effort into it, even being pretty buzzed, I'm all right. But, it's never good when you get home and you're like where's my bike? And then you walk out and like see it sitting there and you're like, I don't remember doing that. So try and keep it a little more under control these days. You know, everyone slips up once in a while. Mile High says they live in a place where marijuana is legal, much lighter to pack, for sure. Yeah. I I'm not a I rarely ever would smoke these days. I mean, I would never have it, but doesn't mean I always turn it down. So, oh, so Pudgy was, man, I riding home stoned is fun, but only if it's already dark and I'm not gonna go anywhere after that. So, and if someone offered it to me because I don't want to be holding anymore, it's not legal. It's not legal here. So I was talking about maybe doing a meetup on January 23rd. I started a page for it in the Discord. So Pudgy just asked if I'm recommending studded tires, and I am, but it's impossible to know with the way our weather is around here now. You know, it could be 19 degrees and dry as a bone outside, where you wouldn't need studded tires. Or it could be 30 with a foot of snow on the ground. We're really going to have to play like the January meetup by ear. And the other thing, so the other idea I had about the January 23rd meetup was to do something for like if the weather totally sucks, or a place where we could all also say it's 22 degrees and we don't want to like stop anywhere on the ride because you don't want to warm up. So one idea I came up with, and we'll see if anyone's interested, is having a film festival where anyone who watches the channel put together like a 5 to 8 minute video, and it could be like serious. You could like really produce something you want to. You could go all out, or you could take like your iPhone footage of your rides and like compile it with some music into a video, and then we could like I've got a couple spots in mind where we could go get food, drink some beers, and they could play them all on. I'll have it set up so we could play them all on the TV and watch them, and then we could live stream them for anyone who's out of town. So that's kind of the rough idea. I've posted some details in the Discord, and we'll post more and see if anyone's interested in that idea. But I thought it'd be kind of fun to do like a little Fitzwater Cycles film festival. There's a number of people who watch the channel who, you know, Patrick makes videos, Dylan makes videos, Malk, who haven't talked to for a little while, makes videos. So yeah, and anyone else should too. It would just be kind of like a fun, I don't know, I think it'd be a fun thing to do, something different, a way to hang out. But we'll see what the interest is as we go forward. Rick makes videos. So yeah, but like I said, it doesn't mean you need to own a $5,000 camera. Like everyone's got a camera in their pocket, you know, come up with something. I was saying I thought it'd be funny if we spoofed each other's videos. Like, should I submit like a video where I'm being the lanky cyclist, you know, anything like that. But yeah. Mile High said, riding stone sounds terrifying. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. It makes me feel like I'm flying. I enjoy it. I just don't. The fact that I don't want to get busted having weed, and I don't like going places and like having to have conversations like after I've smoked pot is the reason I don't anymore. But now people like have like the vape pens and stuff, and I've definitely taken a hit here and there. And yeah, if it's after dark and I'm riding my bike home, it's really fun. Hope my parents aren't watching because they don't like that stuff. But yeah. Yeah, and Pudgy, you're cool riding in the snow no matter what. Like a lot of people are. Like I watch people, those bike messengers, and just like even watching Terry B like single speed through New York in the snow. Some people are more comfortable with that stuff than others. I like having my 2-inch studded tires when it's snowy and icy outside. But riding straight sounds terrifying. But yeah, so if you haven't seen that and you're not in the Discord, one, jump in the Discord. It's fun to chat over there. Just turn off notifications. You could check in whenever you want. But I do like the idea of doing a winter meetup and having a different element to it. So no matter what the weather does, so like I said, if we just join Dirty River on their Yeti ride, you know, depending on what it's like, cool. And then we have a spot to go afterwards and do something kind of fun, so we could still have that sense of community. Yeah. Rick said the key to not getting paranoid is moderation. Yeah. But if you're a lightweight because you never do it, it's hard to have any kind of sense of moderation. Because, yeah. That's the thing with smoking pot is like if I'm busy and engaged in something like riding my bike, I don't get paranoid. If I have to go stand around at an event as a photographer who's already not, I'm all like, I'm not a super outgoing person. I'm not like a salesman-y type guy. So like having to go and do my job, if I had to go do that stoned, I would not do a good job, you know, like, but it doesn't have the same effect on everyone. Everyone's completely different. So I find with what I do now, like standing here, making videos, being a photographer, like smoking grass is just not something that fits in like my current lifestyle. Being a guy who dried off cars at the car wash, it wasn't a big deal, you know. Hey, what's up, Tony? Tony, you are pretty late to the party because it's 11 o'clock and I'm about to cut it off and go to bed. But Tony's hosting a ride on Saturday down in the southern section of the towpath. And so they're doing a ride that kind of is a lot of the people who do Dirty Rivers Yeti rides. And so they're calling it Yeti on the Loose and kind of doing some longer style rides. And they've done some cool ones. And I've been out of town for every single one they've done so far, unfortunately. But Saturday I am in town, but they're meeting down in Bolivar. So I was thinking of possibly riding down there, but that means we were just talking about this, and on Facebook I'd have to leave here by 7 at the latest to make it. So considering it, but maybe we just throw the bikes on the bike rack and meet you guys down there. So yeah, so you are late to the party, Tony, because I am going to go to bed. I am exhausted, and I'm trying to knock out a bunch of work tomorrow because we've got that nice weather, and I do want to ride. So Rick said he shows up at restaurants to shoot high and has a blast, super chatty. Yeah, that's what it means. It just affects everyone different. Like, that would not be me. So, yeah, so Thursday morning will be the bike ride video where Aaron goes mountain biking for the first time. Stream Thursday night. We will hit up, I'm going to hit up in the Discord to see if anyone wants to be a guest. And also, Tony, you're here. If you, I don't know how early you're up at 11 o'clock, but if you want to ride over here one night, Tony, and be a guest on the stream too, that'd be cool. You could bring over your bike and we could chat about that and all that stuff. I could hit you up about that though in some DMs. So yeah, trying to do more guests on Thursday, and yeah, play me off, Johnny. Yeah, Lockport Brewery at 10 a.m. Saturday if anyone is in the area and interested. So what's up, Adrian? I'm going to say hi, but I'm also going to say goodbye. We'll be chatting again at 9 on Thursday. All right, dudes.
Okay, bye.
All right.
Okay,
Yeah.
this time.
Fitzwater photo.